We're off to a great start. I'm excited.
Okay, we are live. We are ready to go. I'm going to share my screen. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Hope everybody is enjoying learning this morning about so many awesome things. I was just myself in some of the sessions. I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Lonnie Maldonado. I am super excited to be in my hoodie, hanging out at home, being able to talk to everybody. Let me know if you cannot see my screen in just a second. I'm going to try something here. Okay, awesome. All right, well, welcome. I'm going to pop out my presentation, and if at any time you cannot see anything, please let me know so that I can make some adjustments. Good morning. Welcome, everybody. All right. So can everybody see my presentation okay? Let me try one more time. Okay. All right. Sally, we good? You can see the presentation? Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. This is STEM in Disguise, More Than Meets the Eye, transforming literature into STEM challenges. So I am Lonnie Maldonado, like I said. I am a newly MRC director or teacher librarian in District 181. Can you guys see okay? Let me try one more time. It looks like maybe you're not seeing my presentation. All right, there we go. Okay, sorry about that. I maybe forgot to click back in our live session here. So again, my name is Lonnie Maldonado. I'm gonna try my screen share one more time with you guys and see if this works. Okay, sorry guys. There we go. Okay, you should be able to see my presentation now. Okay, so we are, nope. Okay, we'll just do it this way. All right, so like I said, I am Lonnie Maldonado. I am a Golden Apple Scholar. And I have been teaching for about 10 years now. It's my 10th year of teaching, and this is my second year of being a teacher librarian. I am at Monroe School in Hinsdale District 181, and our school just got our blue stem. I'm sorry, our blue stem is our library awards. We just got our blue ribbon award this year, so it's been a very exciting year. I am a graduate of what used to be Gislis, but now the wonderful iSchool at University of Illinois, and just truly enjoyed all of my classes there that I have been able to take. And that cutie on the left, since we're talking about STEM and STEM challenges and really getting kids to love all of the new things that are happening in the world around them. This is my cutie. He just turned 3. His name is Cole. And you can tell, we try our best at home. We were at the Chicago Children's Museum last week, really enjoying all of the amazing opportunities that they have for kids there. They have a Tinker Lab and just tons and tons of great things. So if you ever need a great place to, take your kids, definitely check that out. I was pretty impressed with them. So we're going to go ahead and get started today. If you didn't know, or if you are not an ISLAMA member, this is my 5th year now of being an ISLAMA member. I had actually started when I was actually in grad school as a library student. If you didn't know, they have student pricing, which is awesome for ISLAMA members. But they also provide tons of grants and awards for members. These grants include scholarships, funds for professional development opportunity, grants to support your curriculum, books for your library, and so much more. There's a list here that you can see. And if you're interested in learning more about the opportunities, please visit the islama.org website and then visit the awards and grants section on the left. I myself was a award winner of the Loretta McCusker PD grant, and I was able to attend the ISLAMA conference one year as a student, which was, I felt really gave me a good kind of view into the world that I was, going to be getting into. So let's go ahead and get started. If you, just a little background about me quickly, I, like I said, had come from the classroom into the library world, and one of the schools that I had taught at was in Champaign. They have a school named Booker T. Washington. They are a STEM school. So I had a little bit of background training from the classroom with STEM, and then was able to bring some of this knowledge into the library world with me. So when I first started, I really was interested in just trying to find what were other people doing outside of the library world and the classroom, in museums, trying to kind of make that experience go, across, tons of places for kids, because they're getting, all different types of experiences. And last year, as I was on Pinterest, of course, looking at some different challenges, I really wanted to showcase some of the things that my students were doing. That year, we had been working with Aaron Reynolds. He had been to visit our school for his new book called Nerdy Birdie, which, if you have not read it, is a fantastic book. Nerds all over will just love it. And I also believe there's a second book coming out soon for that, if you were interested. And we also, because of the Blue STEM list last year from ISLA, we were looking at the 13-story treehouse. So with my third to fifth graders. So as we're kind of going through and reading books and getting to know, more about all of the things that we do in the library, I had this idea of kind of piecing together STEM challenges along with the books that we were reading to tie it into the curriculum. I'm a big proponent of, really making it important to the kids, and tying it into what we were doing was exactly what we were trying to emulate for our teachers at our school. So, I had these crazy ideas that I was going to completely take over our library space and just let the kids build and, not have a structure and get to it. So we did. Everyone thought I was crazy. My teachers were on board. And they, said, whatever we can do to support you, let's, go ahead and do it. So I, through, going to some of the different conferences and reading different blogs, and on Pinterest, I found tons and tons of information. It's really incredible what some of the homeschooling parents are being able to do with their children, and also being able to share some of the things that they're doing. I was able to kind of get these ideas of taking the stories and the authors we'd been working with, and really making it, really bringing it to a different level for the kids. So we started with a very basic training for my students. With my STEM background, I really wanted to make it important and connect it to NGSS science standards as much as I could. And we started working, I'll show you in just a second, a couple of slides where we did an orientation with students. So the first thing what I really wanted to do with them is, before we even got into the making aspect of everything, we needed to train them. We needed to train them, how are we going to think differently about this as we are, making things? What are the expectations that the space is going to look like, along with, what are they supposed to be doing with the time that we have together? I continued to do this with not only my students, but also my teachers. Some of my teachers are kind of new to this idea of makerspace and STEM, and I wanted to be able to kind of emulate some of the things that we had done previously, so that they could see what we are doing in the library and then take that into their classrooms and make it a part of their curriculum. And like I said, there was no right or wrong way to do this, but we just kind of started this way. So this next slide is the slide that I showed my students. What I really like to do with STEM is tie it into either some type of career or the design process with NGSS to make this relevant to students. And as we did that, it was very clear to them, as you can see, what are we supposed to be doing? How are we supposed to be thinking? What are the materials we're going to be using? We had collected recycled materials for our 3 to 5 program that we were going to be doing with the 13-story treehouse. From all different people at the school, everyone kept collecting boxes and containers, shipping materials, pretty much anything that we could think of. And my office may have looked like a recycling center for a couple of weeks, but the outcome was just fantastic. We talked with each of the students and showed them this video about what is an engineer. There's a great YouTube channel called CC Kids, and they have a just great, maybe 2 to 3 minute presentations about different parts of science, and that looks like it is linked to NGSS standards and the design process as well. So again, giving kids a background knowledge to really hold on to make sure that they understood why we were doing this. And then when we went into our 13-story treehouse project, really just giving them the space to be able to do this, kind of, taking that step back from, our normal roles of, having kids go through, the motions in class, and really just taking that step back and releasing the responsibility so that they are able to just build, make things, figure out that, something is going to work, or if it's not going to work, what do I do? It was a really great process. We, kept going through the orientation with them. And, I even found that it was important that we were giving them 2 or 3 sessions to complete this building. And we were able to, also say to them at the end, hey, you guys are responsible, for this space. Everyone is doing, everyone in the entire school is coming in, doing this project together as classes. We also need you to, be able to clean up and, put pieces where they need to go so that the next class can come in and have a great experience just like you guys did. Again, treating it as, kind of a job site. We, make sure to let them know that, what they were going to be doing next week so that they knew, and we didn't have to do an orientation next week. They could literally come in and have their, 20 to 25 minutes with our 30-minute session, each week to actually get some building done. And it turned out great. Here, if you look, we have a couple of kids. You just see them, all over our MRC. They're, using different spaces. They're, working in different groups, helping each other, talking to each other about their designs as they're doing it. And it just ended up being a fantastic project for them to be able, to know about. For my K2 kiddos, we had worked with something, you might have heard of something called the Helping Harry Challenge. And this challenge is where the idea is you give students a specific materials. For this, we did not do recycled materials, but we gave them a certain number of the white like poster cards, and then we gave them a certain number of they were like cupcake muffin tin liners, and then a certain amount of pieces of tape that they could use, and also a couple of different pipe cleaners that they could use. And each group got the same amount of items, and they were to build a perch for Nerdy Birdie. And of course, I didn't know I was going to be presenting at the time, and we'll take better pictures from now on. But if you could imagine just like a little fuzzball with two little googly eyes on them were our little nerdy birds. So again, they, kind of looked like Nerdy Birdie here in just a little puffball form. But if you look up the Help Harry Challenge, then you would know what they look like and what kids were doing. So it turned out to be just fantastic. Like I said, the kids were, really going through being able to understand the design process, be able to, talk about some different types of STEM careers. And then our last building session, we were able to have everyone get together and then present to each other, what did they build? How did they build it? What did they find helpful? What did they find to be challenging? How would they, maybe reflect on their design process, and then go back again and, how would they do it differently the next time? In the grand scheme of things, when I, kind of reflect back myself about looking at this project, I also, said to myself, hey, next time I do this, I want to be able to have some type of rubric or set specific requirements that all groups would need to have, especially for my 3 to 5 kiddos. And even just from attending one of the sessions this morning, I got another idea to take almost like a reflection sheet, so that each time they would have a couple of minutes as a group at the end of each building session to be able to kind of write down, what are they doing? Why are they doing it? How are they doing it? And, how can they, keep going for next time? So they almost have like a plan to walk in with. Also, it gives them a good talking point with their teachers, and for them to be able to, say, here's what we did today, or, go home and talk about the different types of learning that is occurring in the library or in the classroom. We've, thought about we're going to be doing a couple of different projects this year, again, with the 2018 Blue STEM and Monarch Awards just coming out. We're definitely, looking at what we can do for next year, and ideas are already spinning. If you haven't seen on the Islama server, through the listserv, there's some really great things happening with sharing ideas. So, if you have ideas of how to transform some of these books into STEM or STEAM challenges, those are, great places to collaborate with. I know I'm definitely going to be, looking at those as well. We do have a couple of minutes left. I wanted to leave some time for questions at the end, and just kind of have a good, conversation if anyone, wanted to know more about specific parts. But we have, I'm of course a child of the 80s, love me some Transformers. But I think it's always important to, kind of close with this idea of, what we are doing with makerspaces and bringing new ideas into libraries is so important. And, we as librarians are really going to help this change. So, no matter how small you start, I think just starting and trying it out and seeing what works for you and your school and your teachers and your students is really just the most important part that, that I was able, to get out there and do. So I'm going to go ahead and look at the chat and get some questions going. So Amy, I did actually read the 13-story treehouse to my 3 to 5 kiddos. I would not say I have a traditional library class, but the way my library class works is we have a 30-minute session with first through 5th grade at my school. My kindergartners get a 45-minute session. So that would maybe look like a 30-minute lesson time and then a 10 to 15-minute checkout time. With my 1st through 5th graders right now, we are doing a 20-minute lesson time with a 10-minute checkout time that more than likely goes over depending on grades and kind of the week or project that's happening. What we did is I had gotten the 13-story treehouse on my iPad, and we're very fortunate to have Apple TV in my library, and so I was able to show the book, and then we kind of did in a almost like little literature circles where each I kind of broke the kids up over a couple of weeks, and everyone took the certain chapters, and then we each kind of presented to each other about those chapters. So as we're reading them, the group that was highlighting, or that was, kind of on those chapters, was kind of highlighting some of the graphics, since there were some graphic novels, and also anything that they thought was, funny or interesting about it. Sharon, you had said, have you asked your students what books might work to be a makerspace challenge? I have not yet. That's kind of on my list to do as we're park testing these next couple of weeks, as I'm sure most everyone is. We are looking to really get started afterwards with a lot of our next projects. So I think it'll be really good. Stephanie had asked, how many library classes did the 13-story treehouse project take? I would say in our 20-minute times, there is, if I can remember correctly, I want to say it took maybe 3. It may have taken 3 because I had done it kind of during like park testing time, and then had rolled into this challenge after park testing. I thought it was kind of a nice way to also be able to get rid of, just get rid of all the testing craziness that the kids had been having over the last couple of weeks. Let's see, Victoria, that's a great question. So the way we stored our in-progress work was we were able to kind of, I'm going to just share if you're in the presentation notes, but we cleared off all the tops of our shelves, and we stored all of the student work on the shelves. And then what was great is I was able to also not only have the ability to showcase the students' work in progress, but I was able to also put in the NGSS standards and link them with Common Core standards and have them out so that parents coming into the library were able to see, this is a work in progress, but it's relating to, this curriculum. Or, here is the Help Harry challenge, and here's some pictures of like what we did, why we did it, and the standards that it matched to. But no, everything was kept in the library during that 3 to 4 week building time. I did make a Pinterest board for today, so I will add that as soon as we're finished here to our to the slides. But I have pinned a ton of just different books, different challenges, things that I've used in the past, things that I've looked at to create these two, so that people can have some ideas about where to go and get them as well. And then it looks like Deidre has our last question. And are students bringing home what they made, or are they taking everything apart? So unfortunately, Deidre, with it being the last time, it was towards the end of the year before we start doing our inventory, we were able to save a couple of them. Ultimately, we gave them to the classrooms, and the classrooms kind of showcased them to kind of keep them going. But I believe towards the end of school, they probably ended up back in the recycling bin, or the teachers may have decided to let certain kids take it home. With it being a group project, it was a little bit tricky, and something that I definitely would think about, maybe doing or not doing again. With it being a group project, because that did get a little tricky, and that was a question that we got a lot from the kids. So thank you for that question. But last thing, again, if anyone is interested in ISLMA, please definitely head over to their site. I've got one last slide for you guys, if I can get it back up. But I really just wanted to say this was my first time presenting online, so it was pretty painless. And I was really excited to be able to do it. So thank you guys for being an awesome audience. And just the last thing is that I wanted to say thank you. This is a free professional development that was brought to us today by the Illinois School Library Media Association. So if you are interested in seeing what other benefits your membership provides you, please definitely head over to islama.org today. And thank you all for attending. Don't forget to head back to the site and make your choice for session 3. So thank you all. Definitely feel free to take those slides, use them as your own, and I'll be putting some resources and things in at the end as well. So thank you all. Have a great rest of your morning.